Hey everybody, it's John Levy, and we're back again for another edition of Falcons, the Men of Northeast Catholic. And I have my guest today with me.
Hey guys, this is Rich Wilde, class of 77. I'm from the Port Richmond area. I went to St. Anne's. I grew up at Memphis and Auburn, the suburbs of Jewtown. I don't know if anybody knows about Jewtown, but
I do.
Okay, I lived right down the street from there, so around the corner.
And what year did you graduate North?
77.
77.
Yeah.
So Rich, why did you choose North Catholic?
So, graduating from St. Anne's, 99% of the guys went to North, and that was, that's what they told you had to do. My mom was a big influence because she was Catholic. My father was Protestant. So, my mom was, she pretty much pushed me to go to North too. So, it was a good choice.
Yeah. And like you said, most guys from the neighborhood, Port Richmond, I guess, I don't know when Roman opened up, but around our time, we had some other choices, but you would usually go to where your friends went. You followed along.
Roman was never a choice. One or two of my buddies went to Mastbaum or Frankfurt. Our corner had 40 guys hanging on the corner. Two guys I think went to Frankfurt, and one or two went to Mastbaum. Rest of us all went.
So now North has various clubs, sports, and so forth, so on. What did you participate at North in?
So first I played baseball for 4 years, JV and varsity. I got involved with CSC, Community Service Corps with Father Hagen for a couple years, which was really good. It really helped me in life to appreciate things. They were the two things that I pretty much, got involved with North when I was there.
So I hear your baseball team was pretty successful.
Yeah. We in 77 we won the city title. We beat Northeast Public. We kind of kicked their butts, but we had a lot of talent on our team, and baseball back then in the 70s at North Catholic was a challenge to make the team, and every team back then when I went made the playoffs, and we're always favored to win. So it was a nice experience.
What was your record that year?
I think we were 12. We were like during the season like 24-6, and then we had to play. We had to win our last game to tie Bishop Kenrick to even play in the playoffs. So we had I'm trying to think back. We had to play Archbishop Ryan at Lighthouse Field. We won 10 innings with them. And we got called for curfew. We had to get off the field and then restart the game, play it all over again the next day.
Wow.
So we wound up beating them just so that we can go play Bishop Kenrick to even be eligible to play Father Judge for the playoffs. So we wound up beating Kenrick at Germantown Academy. And then we played Father Judge in the first round at Ernie Field.
Oh, wow. So one of your classmates, I hear was seen on Facebook, was kind of breaking your stones. What's the story behind all that, and what do you have in response?
So Matty Yeager, who was a sophomore then, he was our bat boy. At the championship game, I went 0 for 4. I popped up a couple times, flew out, got on fielder's choice. Throughout the years, Matty bust my stones about being 0 for 4. So I put it back on him and said, Matty, you were the bat boy. Every time I turned around, you told me you couldn't find my bat. I had to use somebody else's bat, and that's my excuse.
Well, listen, baseball is a superstitious sport, right? You've seen on many movies like Bull Durham, the guy winds up wearing the girl's garter and so forth and so on. So I do believe this is Matty Yeager's fault, unless he comes on this interview and says otherwise. But from what I'm hearing too, bat boys were also responsible for giving all the starters their water bottles.
Yeah, yeah, that too. Maddie sometimes was mistaken as the fungo.
The fungo. What's that?
The fungo, a fungo bat.
Oh, oh,
That long skinny bat that the coaches would use to hit ground balls and fly balls to you.
okay. So, Rich, who was your favorite teacher at North? Again, throughout the
Yeah,
years, there were many great teachers, but what one particular teacher stands out in your mind?
John, there's so many of them. I can't just pick one. There's real quick, Father Hagen and Father Hurley were a big influence on me. Those guys, Father Hurley would come out to your playground. He came over to Cahock's playground a couple of times and played basketball with you. Yeah, now you never won. You can never beat Father Hurley. He was 6'4", 250 pounds, and you can never beat him. He cheated.
Well, you can say that now without getting jugged.
Yeah, yeah. He made up his own rules, but you can never beat him. That and Father Hagen, he was always around, when we had spare time, he would take us, he would let us come in the directory and watch a movie and stuff and hang out, some of the guys on the baseball team. One day in particular, he took us to the Burger King up in Mayfair. And after we left the Burger King, he took us to his mom's house in Mayfair. So he gets out of the car and he said, guys, wait here for me. I'm going to bring her outside. We took off with one of the priest cars and drove around Mayfair for about 15, 20 minutes.
Oh my God.
We came back, he's sitting on the steps going, guys, you're going to get me in trouble for doing this.
That is funny.
So,
well, at least you didn't get jugged or anything.
No, we're cool. And other guys, Leo Donahue was real good. He taught me how to write my first check. I've been writing checks like that all my life now, ever since he taught me how to write a check. Mr. Rega got me through algebra. Algebra was the hardest damn class I ever had in my life, and he got me through it. So there's numerous of them. There's so many of them.
So let's see what we got here. How did North Catholic prepare you for adulthood? I mean, what do you do for a living now? And was North Catholic a big part of the process of you?
So I've been pretty much in sales since I graduated at North. My wife and I and another couple, we own a real estate firm in Center City, Philadelphia. It's doing okay. It prepared me, never to give up. When I got knocked down, I would always get up, be relentless. There's always a challenge yourself, and be the best at everything you do. If you're going to be a dishwasher, be the best dishwasher. If you're going to be the, president of something, be the best president. And it kind of put me out there. Playing baseball there was always a challenge in baseball, and I always, bring that into life now, because you weren't always guaranteed to start when you played, even when you were a senior. If you had a game or two that you had a bad game, your ass was on the bench and there was someone else there to replace you. So, I always think of that in life right now, that, I'm always looking over my shoulder that someone can replace me, and I got to, keep pushing myself. And it really helped me through life. It really did.
So out of your 4 years at North Catholic, what would have been your fondest memory?
John, there's a couple, besides meeting a lot of guys from other neighborhoods, Juniata, Wissinoming, Kensington, I was a little sheltered, hanging out at Memphis and Auburn, pretty much, till I was 13, 14, 15 years old, going over to Cahock's playground and hanging out there, meeting the guys from other neighborhoods, really, really helped me to appreciate, different, different neighborhoods, Kensington, Wissinoming, Juniata, Fishtown. Two things that really stick out. Winning the city title was enormous. We didn't even go to the school anymore. We graduated on a Friday, June 10th, and the game wasn't until June 13th on Monday. So we weren't even going to the school anymore. And we had to play the championship game. We practiced all weekend long, but that sticks out. And one thing throughout 4 years, I couldn't wait for baseball season to start because I could finally take a shower. I didn't have a shower at home on Memphis Street. So I look forward from March to June to go to school and be able to take a shower after practicing the game because I didn't have one at home. And it was really cool to stand there in the shower.
Yeah.
Not that, you know, but
So, if someone was to say to you, "Hey, Rich, you know, whether it's your grandkids or whatever, what was it actually like to be a North Catholic Falcon?" I mean, what would your response be to that?
you know, being proud, you know, of the school that you go to. I felt that there was like a family atmosphere at the school, along with the priests, the teachers. Nobody was there to ever, try to put you down. Everybody was there to help pick you up if something was, something happened. Whether it be sports or in the classroom. There were guys there that would bust your stones here and there about different stuff, but for the most part, you felt like family. Your baseball jersey had Falcon across their chest. You felt proud of wearing that, across your chest. John, throughout the years, I live over here in South Jersey. I've got a few neighbors whose either uncle or grandfather or father went to North, and after they've met me and talked to me and knowing how their uncle or grandfather was, they looked at you different, kind of. They like, wow, you're like my grandfather, you're like my uncle. So they pretty much, there's something there when you're a North Catholic Falcon.
Yeah, even like I'm originally from Port Richmond area. Grew up in Salmon and Somerset and St. Albert's Parish, and you moved up here to the Northeast, and even guys, I'm a police officer. Even guys I work with who went to Father Judge or Archbishop Ryan, you ask them like, where did your dad go to school? Your grandfather, and everybody tells you it was North Catholic. So no matter where you look out throughout the city, there's always some kind of North Catholic lineage there, no matter where you go.
Yeah. Hey, a quick story. My cousins about 15 years ago were they were in Florence, Italy, walking down the street. And there's a guy with a Philly shirt on walking towards them. And right away, hey, Philly, Phillies, this and that. My cousins were from Belmar, New Jersey, right? So they start talking about where they're from. So the guy, Jimmy O'Connor, who I graduated from Fishtown, he goes, I'm from Fishtown. And they said, we have a cousin from that area, Richie Wilde. I went to North Catholic with him. It was like, they couldn't wait to get back and say, we met someone you went to school with. We're everywhere.
What number did you wear at North Catholic, Rich?
11.
That was my number.
No.
I swear, I kid you not.
No way.
I have a tattoo of Popeye on my arm.
Yeah.
And what's a soccer one, because I played soccer as well. And I got number 11. So my wife says to me, because my son kind of adopted my number. She goes, you got that for your because your son. I said, no. I said, that's the number I wore at North Catholic.
Yeah.
And another guy that I went to school with, he was a year behind me. Joey Brennan was a shortstop, just like yourself. Yeah. And I was a senior. So the seniors, like you said, we get to pick our numbers first if they did that back then too. Well, I chose 11 and Joey had to take number 1. And I said, don't worry about it. When I'm done with this, you can have the other one. But Joey.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Joey he was a very good shortstop too. And, it's, how it is. Friends breaking friends' balls, Falcons breaking Falcons' balls.
You better have thick skin.
Yeah.
I wore number 11 for varsity. When I was JV, they had us wearing those wool uniforms. I had number 36 for that. But those damn wool uniforms, once it got to be like middle to late May and it got warm out, they were itchy as hell, man.
So now during our era, I don't know if you've seen some of my videos, just breaking stones on guys, just now walking the hallways, kind of the prankster stuff we used to do would be knock the kids' books out of their hands, and like everybody in that hallway got to kick the books down the hallway. Yeah. During your guys' class, what do you say, 77?
Yeah.
What did you guys do to break guys' stones in school?
We got little pieces of paper and tape and put something like "kick my ass" or something, or whatever, and stuck it on someone's back of their sport coat. They're walking around the hallway. That I've seen the books, but I saw more of sticking a note on someone's back of their sport coat, you know?
So let's talk a little cafeteria.
Yeah.
What was the go-to food back then in '77?
Well, I ate there a couple days a week. A lot of times I brought my lunch, but I love their donuts.
Everyone says that.
Donuts were good. The French fries were pretty good. The only thing you got to watch, sometimes someone would put something in the salt, the salt thing. One day I heard someone put a snail in there. It was
Oh,
so you had to watch, had to watch the salt.
so who was the disciplinarian back then in your school?
Ernie Koshnick.
Ernie, we finally found it. What year did Ernie Koshnick start North Catholic?
I started there in '73, and he was there then. So I don't
Okay.
know before that. I mean, he was a tough guy. You didn't want to mess with him. He was kind of stocky, But I'll tell you what, John, I've had some conversations with him after school. I've talked to him, and what a great man. I'll tell you,
Yeah.
my oldest son, who's 35, ready to be 36, I used to take him to the North basketball camps. And one time Ernie was there, and I remember him saying to me, it was in the gym. He said, what did he say? Somewhere on some field, some boy is practicing right now to be better than you. That always stuck in my head that, what, he's right. Somebody's practicing to be better at you. And I'll never forget that.
Ernie was he was intimidating.
Yeah.
He was feared, but I think the word fear is a little stringent. I think respect is a better word.
Oh yeah.
And yeah,
hey, that's the way
I didn't have to deal with him too much,
Yeah.
and
That's the way we were brought up, man. You respect the elders, especially your teachers. The tough ones were the nuns in grade school. They used the rulers and the pointers. They were tough. You were taught to respect the elders and teachers. You got to talk back to them.
did you have you ever attended any of the Norphins summer reunions?
All the time. I got a little condo down about 2 blocks from Keenan's, so it's easy for me to walk there and crawl home.
Well, I'll tell you, it's an amazing job that Jerry Brindisi
Yes.
and Kevin McGettigan and Tommy Crossett and them guys have done, not just for all the alumni's children and for these scholarships, but they have donated to the Police Survivors Fund, Vietnam veterans and stuff like that. It just goes to show you the kind of person a North Catholic Falcon is, and what we would do not only for our own, but for the community as well. So I think they've done. So in final, Rich, what would you have to say to everybody out there and in your classmates, and anything also about the upcoming, hopefully, summer Norphins reunion?
I'm so glad that my parents, chose North Catholic for me. They paid the tuition, whatever it was, and I'm just so proud that I graduated from there. I got to play baseball for Larry Connie, who was a big influence on me, who still is. I see him a couple times a year. The guy always made sense to me when he talked to me. He was a very big influence. I'm just so proud to be able to wear a shirt, a North Catholic shirt like this or whatever. Yeah. Around, because I know, somebody's going to see it and say, wow, my uncle, my father, my grandfather went there. And, I'm just so proud of it. I'm glad, my dad told me years ago, I got to tell you this quick story. Freshman year, we're playing Archbishop Wood at Wood. And it was a rare Saturday game. He was able to come up, a lot of the fathers. After we did our infield, outfield practice, he grabbed me and he started pointing to some of the bigger homes with the driveways and 2 cars and stuff like that in there. And he says, you know what, Richie, you see all this around here? Those kids over on that other bench think they're better than you because they have all this and you don't. And I looked at, and ever since then, all through, going to North, all through the 4 years, every time I played someone, I had a grudge. I went to kick their ass because I felt like they were looking down on me all the time. And I always felt that way, that, I'm better than you. You think you're better than me. I'm better than you because I went to North Catholic, or I'm going to North Catholic. So, that's it, I guess.
Rich, you're so right. I coach soccer, and my boys play in inter-county soccer league. Here, this is my second stint. I coached my older son. Now I got my little guys. And we started from the Department of Rec, and we've trained and we've, dropped kids because they weren't at our level, picked kids up. And every time we go to these neighborhoods, all the way out in the suburbs or up the mountains, this and that, and they keep saying, oh, these are the rich kids. These are the rich kids. And there's been many times where you did tournaments and, sometimes you feel that home field advantage for the other guys that, you get them bad calls. Yeah. Well, you are spot on when you tell me the story that your father told you, because that's the same exact things I tell my kids. Go up there and then show these kids what Philadelphia's about. You know what I mean? Yeah.
He told me, he said, you show them where you're from. And real fast, the morning of the championship game, we played Northeast Public. My dad went to Northeast Public. He ran track and played ball there. I'll never forget, before we left the house, I said, who do you want to win today? And he said, you go out there and show them where you're from. And I'll never forget that. And, it always stuck in the back of my head.
Well, Rich, I want to thank you for coming in today and sharing your stories to everybody, since, it's tough pandemic times. And I'm sure all the guys, your classmates, will love to hear, especially Yeager. We like to hear his side of the story. So, I want to know what it's like to be a bat boy. You know what I mean? I started too. So, Rich, listen, be safe. Have a happy New Year's to you and your family. Stay healthy. And listen, we'll see you at Norphins reunion.
Too.
Not a problem, brother. Let me go ahead and I'll stop this recording and hang tight with me.